Hey everybody, I want to get right to the lesson for this week. This week our lesson is over the book of Hosea, and this is one of those books that we probably don't read very often, and the content of it is a little difficult, so sometimes we skip over it because it can be kind of hard to understand sometimes. So I want to give you just a quick overview for our kiddos, so that way as we go through it, there are some ways for us to talk about these things. So Hosea is a book about a man who marries a prostitute, and she doesn't stop being a prostitute after they're married. And so sometimes in our classes, we may have some kids who have seen this played out in their family situations. There may be some who have a birth mother who've left them. And so I want you just to be sensitive to that as you know your kids, you might just need to just be careful about how you kind of say that. And but we don't want to sugarcoat the gospel, because this story is in here for a reason. And really, this story is a picture of God's relationship with his people. And it's a picture of, a lot of times we want to identify with the good things in the stories. And we should in some, but really this is even a picture of our unfaithfulness and the ways that we do things that we know are wrong, and how God has rescued and redeemed us. And that is the whole point of this story. All thus far of what we've been learning of the nation of Israel is kind of this pattern, this cycle that they go through, where things are really hard, they're in bondage, and so they cry out to God, and God sends a deliverer, and then they praise the Lord, but then they start kind of going off on their own way, and then they fall back into slavery and captivity and bondage. And then they cry out to God, he sends a deliverer, and the whole cycle repeats itself. And we're that same way a lot of times in our lives. I know that I am. Sometimes there are things that I continually struggle with when I know God has already delivered me from that. He's already given me victory over that. But yet I'm the one who chooses to still go back to that sinful pattern. And we all are that way because we're all human. But this is really a picture of how God sent and created the world and created this beautiful relationship. And then just like this beautiful marriage, and then we are sinful and we walk away from that. Just like how Gomer walked away from Hosea. And then how Hosea goes and buys her back and pays for her to come back to him. Just like God sent Jesus to pay the price for our sin so that we can be back in right relationship with him, the way it was designed in the Garden of Eden. And so this is a really beautiful picture of the gospel. It is a physical representation of the gospel. And so sometimes we can get tied up in, it's a prostitute. And yes, that's not something we want to talk to our kids about, but it's about this continually going back to sinful patterns, continually doing things that we know are wrong. And that is the beautiful thing of this story, that God never ever leaves us, no matter what. Just like Hosea never ever left Gomer, and he was faithful even when she was unfaithful. And God is faithful and just and merciful to us even when we are not those things. So as you're talking about this lesson, make sure that you don't forget to point it back towards Jesus and what Jesus did for us. There is a quick video that the Gospel Project put out about this lesson, and I'll kind of attach that as well. Put a link for it so that if you want to watch that, you can. If you have any questions, or if there's any part that you are not sure about how to talk about, please let me know. I will be at Special Friends Retreat this weekend teaching a class. And so I will be back Saturday night, but I can text you, or I'll have a few breaks and I can call you back if you have questions or something. But anyways, so thankful for you guys. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Can't wait to see you on Sunday.